Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to the Toronto Raptors 129-120 win against the Washington Wizards. Now, the Toronto Raptors on a 6-game win streak. They're out here winning games left, right, and center. They're bringing in new players. This is an exciting time to be a Raptors fan, and to be completely honest, I am so amped up about this team right now. The past few days, about the past week or so, we've been just making moves. The games have been exciting, and there's a lot to talk about, a lot to break down about this game. But before we get into it, we gotta go straight into the comment of the day, eh? And tonight, it's going to Colin Clark on our video that Riker made last night on if the Toronto Raptors are the best team in the Eastern Conference. Definitely check that out if you haven't. But he said Jeremy Wynn and Kareem Abdul-Gasol are about to go off. And, you know, they certainly got the Toronto Raptors fans hyped. I know these games, obviously we're not feeling their full impact yet as they're just getting integrated into the team. We'll get more into that later in the podcast, but certainly a lot of excitement surrounding those moves and those players coming in. But the first guy we got to talk about in this game tonight, none other than Spicy P, Pascal Siakam. And this guy has been absolutely ridiculous all season. You know, we've been saying as a meme on a lot of podcasts how it seems like every second night he's breaking his career high. And once again, Pascal Siakam breaks his career high with 44 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks on a 15-25 shooting. And he came out, especially when the Toronto Raptors needed buckets, Pascal Siakam got him for us. And with Kawhi Leonard out, you know, we needed someone to step up as the main scoring option. Pascal Siakam has shown an ability to do that on a consistent basis this season. You know, 44 points for P skills. That's ridiculous. Those are ridiculous numbers. He's hitting threes, he's getting dunks, and that's one thing too. If that jump shot, the more confidence that he gets in that jump shot, and we're seeing him get more and more confident with the three ball, the more confidence he gets with that shot, the more afraid the rest of the league should be, because he's so fast, his handle is super tight. You know, he gets the rim, he finishes everything around the rim. He can dunk it, he can shoot those floaters, those little fadeaway layups he likes to do high off the glass. He's got all these skills to shoot him around the rim. It's just his three-point shot is sometimes inconsistent, and players can kind of play off him. But if he turns into a stretch four on top of those driving abilities, obviously Giannis is a guy that's better. You know, he's a bit stronger, he's a bit more in control of his body. He's got those ridiculously long arms, and he can do pull-ups, and he's not necessarily the greatest shooter, but Giannis is very good at using his physical gifts. Now, I'm not saying Pascal Siakam could be Giannis, but he could be a Giannis light, and I don't say that lightly. Pascal Siakam he's been on a reckoning this season. He's come out here, he plays with the same energy on a night-to-night basis, and that's something he's done since his rookie year. It's the reason he became a fan favorite in the first place. And now he's getting the skills, he's getting the, you know, talent to go around with that work ethic and that consistent drive and that, you know, all-star mentality, you know, the mentality to go at it on a 24/7 basis. I'm going to keep it real. The way he's playing, you know, there's no doubt in my mind he's going to be a multi-time all-star in this NBA. Could definitely be an all-NBA player. That might be a little stretch, and obviously I'm riding a high with this game, but his progression, you know, look at him from the beginning of this year. Look at him compared to this time last season. He wasn't even in the rotation at the beginning of last season. Obviously the jump from star to superstar is a bigger jump than any of them, but you know, I think he could become he's certainly a star in this league. I think he's certainly a guy that's going to be a consistent all-star if he just plateaus at this level. I think he's certainly an NBA star, but I think he could jump to that superstar role. Maybe not, obviously not like LeBron level, but certainly a guy that's a consistent all-star, getting on all NBA teams. But let me know in the comment section below what you think. Am I crazy? Am I riding a high with Pascal Siakam right now? Or is it possible? Because I think it's possible. I've been saying the beginning of the year, I got flamed in the comment section saying that Pascal Siakam will be an all-star this season in my hot takes, but it didn't happen. People were right, but it was close. He deserves it. He certainly deserves it. You know, the way Kyle Lowry's amazing, and we'll get into him later, but Pascal Siakam deserved over Lowry this season, in my opinion, just because of injuries and, you know, the ups and downs Lowry's had. Pascal Siakam has been our second most consistent player all year. So, as you can tell, I'm super hyped about Pascal, but another guy we can't leave out tonight, you know, the way he's been playing, I've been saying it as well. I said by the end of February, OG Anunoby will be at least the player he was last season. We got to give him time with everything he's been dealing with, and he's a young player. You got to give him time to bounce back. He's such a phenomenal talent, athlete, all these sorts of things. You can't give up on OG Anunoby. You know, you don't trade him at the trade deadline like Masai Ujiri did, unless it's for, you know, an absolute superstar like Anthony Davis. But you don't give up OG for pennies on the dollar. And tonight is proof of why this is the case. OG Anunoby, he's like one of those duffel bags, like a gigantic duffel bag that someone just took to the fountain, to the potential fountain, they just filled it up. You just loaded that thing full with potential, because that's what OG is. He's a ridiculous athlete. He can jump high, he can defend. He's got that mass where he can just lock up any player in this league when he's focused on the defensive end. And, he's got a three-point shot. His three-point shot is not broken by any means. He can definitely shoot it. Last season, he shot a very high percentage, especially for a rookie. He can slash. The only real holes in his game, skill-wise, are his ball handling, his passing ability, and, just basketball awareness. He's not super comfortable on the court. Those are the areas that he could certainly improve on, but skill-wise, he has all the intangibles of being a great NBA player. His only issue has been confidence and almost focus on the court, because there's a lot of stretches where it looks like OG Anunoby this season has just been kind of dazed. He doesn't look like he's playing basketball. He looks like his head is somewhere else, but that certainly wasn't the case tonight. OG Anunoby with 22 points off the bench with an absent Kawhi Leonard, 5 rebounds. He got a steal despite deflecting a bunch of passes and being in the passing lanes and being an awesome defender. He was 4 for 8 from the three-point line, and OG Anunoby, I've been saying it. People have been keeping up. I said the end of February. I said it back in December. I said February is the month where we're going to really see an OG turnaround. I'm not saying he's going to play like this on a night-to-night basis. I'm sure he'll have a couple of duds in the next few games as well. But if he can just have that focus, because his only real issue that's been, a glaring drop-off from last season to this season is just how mentally engaged he's on the court. And that, honestly, the biggest reflection of that, because we know OG's a solid shooter, right? He can shoot the threes. He had a decent free throw percentage last year, and this season his free throw percentage just completely fell off the map. It's in the 40s, I believe, for most of the year. So, the free throw line is just all mental, especially for a guy with good mechanics like OG. And the past 2 games, he's looked a lot better. He looked a lot more engaged, and now it translates into box score numbers. So I'm really happy with the trajectory of OG Anunoby the past couple weeks. Hopefully it's something that keeps up, and hopefully my prediction will come true that OG by the end of February will be back at least to the player he was last season, where he's exciting all of us as fans, because put us in our shoes of us in the summer. No one wanted to trade OG. We're calling him Young Kawhi, right? How long has it been since we've called OG Young Kawhi on this podcast? And we have Kawhi Leonard on this roster, right? So can't lose faith in the young guy. He's certainly going to be an integral piece of the Toronto Raptors' future. But, we're 7 minutes into this podcast, and there's so many guys we could talk about. Tonight was Jeremy Lin's debut on the Toronto Raptors. He looked very solid tonight. 8 points, 5 assists. That's very impressive for a guy that literally just came in, just touched down off the plane. He got signed to the Toronto Raptors at 5 o'clock, played the game at 7, came down, got solid numbers, and that's even harder for a point guard. Because he's running the backup point guard now with Fred VanVleet out for the next 5 weeks. Point guards are the ones who run the show. They run the offense. They tell people what to do. And Lin did a solid job with how he commanded the team, led the second unit. The bench really performed tonight, so it was a solid game for Jeremy Lin. Obviously, this isn't nearly the best of Lin. We're not going to see the best of him until he sees all the plays. He gets used to the team. He'll hit a few shots. Obviously, he's tired, jet lagged, all that sort of stuff. But certainly, I was impressed with how he played. 8 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. All-around game from Lin tonight. The threes will go in. Everyone's excited about having this guy on the roster. So, super fun to see him suited up as a Raptor. And Kyle Lowry, he's back. I think it's fair to say he's been awesome the past few games. He had 4 threes tonight, 14 points, 13 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals. Just a Kyle Lowry-esque game. Kyle Lowry doesn't go for big scoring nights when you got other players dropping 44 and 22. Between Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby, that's 66 points. Kyle Lowry said, let's get the ball to them this game, because there's no need for me to be shooting too many shots, but he got us big threes when we needed it. Our defense was on fleek tonight. And Kyle Lowry's going through that slump. Obviously, everyone had to critique him. He was playing objectively not good on the offensive end. He couldn't score the ball in the hoop. But when Kyle Lowry plays like this, we don't need him to score 20 points a night. If Kyle Lowry's doing this for our roster with the talent that we have, if he's getting the most out of everyone on this team, that's all we need. That's all we need out of Kyle Lowry. That's an all-star level player there, because he knows his role. He knows what's best for winning. And Kyle Lowry, the game he played tonight, is the best possible style for us to win games. And, he was in a bunch of trade rumors over the trade deadline. People were saying we should get rid of him. I'd say about half the comments want us to just trade Kyle Lowry for, Mike Conley or someone. Mike Conley's a solid player, but I really didn't want that trade to go through. Kyle Lowry, when he's healthy. When Kyle Lowry's healthy, he can have nights like this, not necessarily huge scoring nights, even though he can go off for those, but his value is where he leads the team. His value is on the defensive end, being an anchor, communicating, all these sorts of things. His value is being one of the most elite playmakers in the NBA, being able to create for other guys. There's a reason this man is a 5-time All-Star. There's a reason he's a 5-time All-Star, and shout out to Kyle Lowry, playing an awesome game tonight. Obviously, not the hugest scoring night, but this is what we need out of Kyle Lowry. So I'm happy with how he played. Norman Powell did a solid job in the starting unit. Norm thrives in types of offense where he gets the ball in his hands a lot. When he plays with the starters, it's not really, optimum from Norman Powell's potential, as he's more of a guy that's better at creating his own things, having the ball in his hands. So Norm is a primetime bench piece. He's a primetime instant offense off the bench, but not the most efficient shooting for him by any means tonight. 3 of 10 from the field, 0 of 5 from the three-point line. When Norman Powell can get the threes cooking at a more consistent basis, I think then we can really make the argument for him to be in the starting unit over a guy like Danny Green, but I don't think that's going to happen this season. Danny Green's obviously such an elite shooter, such an experienced player, and one thing about Danny Green as well, he had 10 points tonight, 2 threes, but it seems like down the stretch of games, no matter how bad he's playing, he could be 0 for 80 from the three-point line. Down in the last 2 minutes of a close game, I don't think there's been a game this season that's been close where whether we won or lost, where Danny Green hasn't hit a 3 in the last 2 minutes of a close game. It's kind of interesting. He's got that cold-blooded mentality as a three-point shooter, a dead eye. He's setting finals records, or at least had a phenomenal finals. I think it was 2015 hitting threes. So he's a big game player, a big time player. Happy to have him on the roster. And there's a couple more guys I can get into. Chris Boucher came in a couple minutes. 3 minutes for him, 3 points. Classic Chris Boucher game. You give him 3 minutes. You give him 1 to 2 shots, he's gonna bang a 3. It's just Chris Boucher's game. Obviously, we have so much depth now. It's going to be tough for him to get minutes this season. And, during the midway point of the year when we were injured a lot, I was saying Nick Nurse got to play this guy some more minutes. Obviously, now it's going to be tough as we inch closer to the playoffs and we're getting into our actual rotations. But he's certainly a guy that's showing. If people get injured, he's good insurance. He's certainly good insurance. And I think he's got a good future going forward. Signed him to a multi-year contract, so that's exciting. But we're going to swing it straight into the segments right now. And tonight, the Kawhi You Do Him Like That play of the day, it's going to Marc Gasol. We're going to get into Marc Gasol a bit later in the podcast. But, Bradley Beal came down. Bradley Beal, Raptor killer. Objectively, one of the greatest Raptor killers in NBA history. He always comes out. Tonight, he had 25 points, or 28 points for Bradley Beal, 11 assists. Solid game for him tonight, but he certainly got owned. He was fathered by Marc Gasol tonight as he went into the lane, and Marc Gasol just, when those little kids run in at the YMCA and they're playing like old people and stuff, and there's that old guy that really doesn't, give a crap about the young kid. That was Marc Gasol when Bradley Beal. That's what it looked like, at least. When Bradley Beal went for the layup, because he threw up that layup and Marc Gasol just grabbed it, slammed the shot straight down the floor. For people that saw it, it was certainly a Kawhi You Do Him Like That for Marc Gasol tonight, because Kawhi You do Bradley Beal like that, Marc Gasol? Kawhi You do Bradley Beal like that? That was a sin. That was a mockery. Regardless, awesome play for our big man. But not all plays can be the Kawhi You Do Him Like That play of the day. And some just make you say, oh, geez. And tonight, the oh, geez play of the day, it's going to Pascal Siakam. Amazing game for him tonight. It's kind of like a positive one. Because if you say oh, geez to a play, you got to throw it in the podcast. He had 39 points, and he went to the free throw line at the end of the game. He's lined up there. The crowd's going crazy. They're hyping up his first 40-point game. He shoots the first free throw, and he misses it. The crowd, you could hear everyone a bit sad, a bit shook. And then the pressure's on the second one. He looked a bit nervous. After the first one, I certainly said, oh, geez. But then he knocks down the second one, gets his 40 points. Obviously, he ended up with 44. But, it made me say 2 OGs in that possession. The negative OGs when he missed the first one. Then he didn't look too confident the second one at the line. But he knocked down the second one. We got a positive OGs. Because that was a great moment for Pascal. P-Skills out here. I want a prediction. From you guys. You listen this far. Let me know in the comment section below. What is Pascal's career high going to be by the end of the season? Because it seems like every game he's going to break it. Is this one going to be topped in the next couple weeks? Let me know in the comment section below. Where's it going to be at? Is it going to be 81 like Kobe? Is it going to be 44 like it is now? I want to know. Because Pascal has been balling. He's been balling. And finally, we're going to swing it straight into the infamous, the one and only DeMarre Carroll Gold Star Award. And tonight, the DeMarre Carroll Gold Star Award, it's going to Nick Nurse. Because Nick Nurse, now, this could be easily rescinded. Nick Nurse could easily bounce back from this. But what do you do when playing Marc Gasol 19 minutes? There's a weird... Marc Gasol has objectively been amazing for the Toronto Raptors. Obviously, he missed some shots tonight, but when he's been on the floor, his passing ability... his just innate ability to create offense for other players. Marc Gasol has looked very impressive with the Toronto Raptors, and he's only playing 19 minutes. Obviously he's trying to get integrated into the team, but Jeremy Lin had 25, and obviously Fred VanVleet's out. I'm not saying Jeremy Lin doesn't deserve those minutes, but Marc Gasol is a big baller. He's a big baller in this league. I know Serge Ibaka, he didn't even have the greatest game, 10 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists from Serge, which is solid, 2 blocks. It was a solid game. By no means did Serge play bad. He certainly looked impressive, but the way Gasol has been playing, he deserves minutes. He's a 3-time All-Star. He's not out of his prime just yet. He's still playing very, very strong basketball, and I don't want Marc Gasol to get discouraged. Now, the reason I say this DeMar Carroll Gold Star could get rescinded, because maybe they had agreement. Nick Nurse said to Marc Gasol, before the All-Star break in the 3 games you're going to play, you're not going to get too many minutes, get ingratiated into the offense, let Serge Ibaka run things out, and then we'll start getting you the run you deserve. Maybe that's the plan. I could certainly see that happening. But if this keeps up, Marc Gasol not getting minutes, because watching the games, I think it's fair to say our best lineup is with Marc Gasol at the center. He does all the things Serge does, and Serge is a phenomenal player, and he's going to be, amazing backup if I was coach of the Toronto Raptors. But Marc Gasol is an elite shooter. He's a better shooter than Serge Ibaka. Gasol is an elite defender. Now, obviously, Serge is a phenomenal defender as well. I'm not trying to take anything away from him there, but they're both a little bit less fleet of foot as they were in the past. But Marc Gasol has kind of always been, a slower guy, so he's kind of relied more upon positioning for his defensive ability, while Serge Ibaka used to just get block after block after block. They call him Serge Ibaka, and he still gets some blocks, but his jump isn't there as much, so the positioning is super valuable. So I think I'd give the edge to Marc Gasol in that category as well. He can bully people in the paint. I think he's got a bit better post moves. I don't want to take anything away from Serge Ibaka's amazing season, because he's been objectively awesome. Myself included, everyone wanted Serge Ibaka traded this offseason, or at least, his role rescinded, his role cut back a little bit, because he looked pretty washed last year. But this season, he's just rejuvenated himself, and he's been awesome. But Marc Gasol does everything that Serge Ibaka does good, at least on par with Serge. But I think the area Marc Gasol would really improve this team and the starters is his passing ability. He could elevate those starting caliber players to a whole nother level, and then Serge Ibaka could be the scoring punch off the bench, because I know he had 6 assists tonight, Serge did, but he's nowhere near the passer of Marc Gasol, and I think that's the area that's really, in my opinion at least, why it makes more sense for Marc Gasol to be the starting center. But let me know what you guys think. I'm sure you'll let me know in the comment section below if you disagree, if you agree, all that sort of stuff. We love hearing from you. Anyways, we're running long. This team's really out here. We had basically 8 rotation guys here to play the Wizards. The Wizards played solid. Trevor Ariza looked nice. Jeff Green looked nice. Jabari Parker looked nice. Everyone gives their best punch to the Toronto Raptors, and we've just been taking it and throwing them back at them. So, awesome time to be a Raptors fan. You guys are the best for making it this far. Check out the Twitter, the Instagram, all that cool stuff. We keep the videos coming. We've amped up the amount of videos we've made, and we've been getting some feedback saying that you guys like the consistent uploads. So, we'll keep doing that if you guys want it. If you want more content, let us know. If you want video ideas, leave it in the comment section. The Instagram DMs are always open. We're always looking for video ideas. So, certainly let us know what you guys want. If you want more or less, we make it for you, so we're listening to you. Anyways, you're the best. You guys are the best for listening this far. I'm signing off. Cheers.